Welcome back to 18.3 volume of cones. It's on page 15 and we're starting in 3, 2, 1. So the explore section which says pyramids to cones. So we worked on that last time, pyramids. Now we're going to be working on cones. So it says complete the following, show all your work. Look at the given figure. What do you think happens to a regular polygon inscribed in a circle if you increase the number of sides? So let's go over some vocabulary words. So they say a regular polygon. That just means that the sides are the same. And by the same, I mean the same length. Inscribed just means in a circle. So as the number of sides, well, let's see. So as it goes from, and there's a sentence starter to help, as the number of sides goes up, the polygon gets closer to being a blank. So here it starts out as a triangle, then a square, a pentagon, a hexagon, an octagon. Ooh, it's getting closer and closer to becoming what shape? What do you think? Hint, look at the last one. It's becoming more and more looking like kind of circular, hint, hint. So what is, as the number of sides goes up, what do you think it gets closer to becoming? Hopefully that hint was enough, but it would become more circular, more like a circle. Why is this important? Well, just so you know that pyramid and cones is going to be very similar. The only difference is that you'll notice our base is going to be circular. So we're still going to use that 1/3 from last time. We're going to still find the area of our base and the height of our cone this time, but instead we're going to use our base to be radius squared times pi. Just so you know, yes, pi is coming back, and I'm not talking about the dessert. This symbol is called pi, and approximation for this would be about 3.14. All right, so it's not a table, it's a pi, it's an irrational number, and there's an approximation we're going to use. If at any point I'm going too fast, feel free to pause, feel free to rewind, and then if you need more support, please come into the center and get that support that you need. All right, and yes, there's that circle base. All right, describe the differences and similarities between finding the volume of a pyramid and a cone. So I'm going to provide a picture of what a cone looks like, what a pyramid looks like. I'm also going to provide what the formulas look like, and some sentence starters. So take a moment right now as I'm going to add some things here. What's a difference that you notice, and what's a similarity? So as you notice here, it kind of looks like I'm using the same formula for both cone and pyramid for volume, with one slight difference, and hopefully this is enough to kind of give you what that difference would be. And I'm going to let you fill those sentence starters in and what you notice is a difference and what's a similarity. All right. So we have these two problems. We're going to find the volume of a cone. All right. So volume equals 1/3 area of base times height. So notice that would be radius squared times pi. Essentially we have two numbers here. Notice that height is going to be from the very top of our cone to the bottom. In this case, yes, 7. Our radius is going to be 2. Take a moment right now and let's work this out piece by piece. So 2 times 2 is 4. Let's bring down everything else, the 1/3, the pi, and the 7. Let's go ahead and calculate what's 4 times 7. That would be about 28. Let's go ahead and divide 28 by 3. What would that be? About 9.3. Now, as an approximation, you can leave it like this. We could also approximate 9.3 times 3.14. Calculate that out. Pause and do so now. That would be about 29.32. All right, let's go on to the next one. Now notice for this one, they give us our diameter from end to end. I want the radius though. What's half of 18? That would be 9. So again, let's put our volume formula down. Let's go ahead and put in our radius. Hint, it's labeled. And our height. And let's go ahead and work this out. What would 9 times 9 be? 81. Let's bring down everything else. All right. Let's multiply 81 times 18. What would that be? Hopefully you calculated that out and you found that to be 1,458. Last but not least, let's go ahead and divide everything by 1/3 or divide by 3. That would be, hopefully you calculated that out and got about 486. Let's approximate that. 486 times 3.14. What would that be? About 1,526.81. All right, so you're like, okay, this doesn't seem too bad. So on the next one, you'll see that it says to find the radius, then use Pythagorean theorem to find the height of the cone. So you'll notice for this one, they're not going to give us the height. We actually have to go find it using a little bit of algebra. So we'll do the first thing that they asked us to do, find the radius. What's half of 2.4? So go ahead and take 2.4 and divide that by 2. What would that be? About 1.2, right? So Pythagorean theorem is what we use for our right triangles. So I'm going to just highlight a couple things for you. Height, which I don't know, I'm going to use a letter for something I don't know. In this case, because it's height, I'll use the letter H. If you decide to use a different letter, that's okay. We're going to use this. Leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. So since I have this triangle, know that the side opposite our 90 degree, which is right here, our 90 degrees right there, is going to be our hypotenuse. That means the other two parts will be our legs. So let's go ahead and plug those in here. All right, go ahead and take a moment right now and let's calculate what 1.2 squared is and 3.9 squared is. Hopefully you found that to be about 1.44 and 15.21. What's the opposite of adding 1.44? I want to get h by itself. I want to solve for h. I want to solve for my height. But I have this adding 1.44. What's the opposite of adding? Subtracting. So subtract both sides. That'll cancel out. And I'm left with h to the second power equals 13.77. In order to get rid of this 2 that's an exponent here, we're going to square root both sides. So we know what our height is. Go ahead and square root 13.77. That would be about 3.71. Now that we know what our height is, yay, we can find the volume. So first things first, we're going to find our radius squared times pi and our height. You'll notice that that's not what we're going to use, 2.4. What did we find our radius to be last time? 1.2. So let's go ahead and write that in. So now that we've written that in, our radius is 1.2. So let's plug that in. Let's work this out. What would 1.2 times 1.2 be? That would be 1.44. Let's bring everything else down. Let's go ahead and calculate 1.44 times 3.71. What would that be? Hopefully you found that to be about 5.34, about there. It's an estimate. Let's go ahead and divide 5.34 by 3. And that would be about 1.78. We'll then make an approximation. 1.78 times 3.14, what would that be about? About 5.59. Awesome. Okay.